The National Hurricane Center will reassess all tropical cyclones that formed in the Atlantic Ocean, particularly the ones that struck land, to give a more accurate analysis of the storm's strength. And the storm of note will be Hurricane Michael. You may recall in my video that I did about the storm that struck, I guess it was 3 weeks ago now, that I thought it was possible, I might even use the word likely, that Hurricane Michael might be reassessed as a Category 5 storm. The reason why I thought that at the time was how close the maximum sustained winds were to Category 5 strength. It was at 155 miles an hour. The threshold for Category 5 is 157. The central pressure of the storm was at 919 millibars, which generally usually indicates Category 5 strength in itself. Hurricane Andrew, which struck Florida back in 1992, had a central pressure of 922 millibars. Andrew was another storm that was reassessed from a Category 4 to a Category 5. So, and there's some evidence to suggest that the central pressure actually dropped down to 917 millibars when it struck Florida, the Panhandle of Florida, and the 155 mile per hour winds. The instrument that recorded these winds actually became destroyed, from what I understand, after those winds were reached. So there's evidence that the storm was still strengthening. So it may have crossed over that threshold. This isn't unprecedented if it is reassessed as a Category 5 storm. If it is, it will be only the fourth storm in modern, really in recorded history, since weather's been recorded since 1870, that has reached Category 5 strength to hit the United States. The other ones being the Labor Day storm of 1935, Andrew, and Camille in 1969. Reassessments have changed the status of a lot of storms. The Labor Day storm of 1935 didn't even used to be considered a Category 5 storm. But so much was said of this storm. So many survivors had talked about how strong this and intense this storm was, that when they reassessed and did, they had the weather experts examine damage and things that they look at, the storm was reassessed to be not only a Category 5, but a very strong Category 5, 185 mile per hour winds. Conversely, Camille, which had been documented as the strongest storm in terms of wind speed in the United States history, was downgraded a bit from 190 mile per hour winds to 175 mile per hour winds, making the 1935 hurricane the most intense officially. The reason why they did that is because there's been some inconsistency about whether Camille was actually as strong as some people thought. So it's interesting. My gut tells me that Michael will probably be reassessed as a Category 5. I think it was still strengthening all the way until up until landfall, and that means that the storm was one for the record books.